There's a hack for playing in tune. What's going on? It's Jason Heath, and if you're like most bassists, you're probably not loving your intonation. None of us do, really. It's something you keep dialing in over the years. But I'm going to show you a strategy that works wonders, plus a secret fact that I'll show you later, so be sure to watch all the video. First, we need to talk about a topic that sounds complicated, but it's not.
Just intonation.
What does that even mean, just intonation? Well, I sat down with intonation expert Molly Sharp to explain.
As string players, we have a choice on where to place a note, unlike, say, piano. There are different tuning systems, and as music evolved and got more complicated, they had to think about tuning and intonation differently. So if you listen to medieval music, it's got lots of fourths and fifths and octaves. So as music evolved, they had to kind of address it. If you went too far from that, it would just sound so god-awful out of tune. I think singers probably more naturally sing in what we would call just intonations, because you're really just intonation to me is going for the maximum resonance in an interval.
Molly's got an entire book on the concept just for bassists, and it's linked in the description below. Let's see how this works on the bass. And oh yeah, I still need to
share that secret with you.
String players have choices as to where to play notes, which is good and bad news. That's why we think about just intonation as string players, unlike a piano or an instrument with frets. We have to learn where the notes are. That is a blessing and a curse. We're going to play the open A, and we're going to play the E. Okay, so that sounds good to me. So we now have that perfect fifth. I'm going to leave the E down right here and now play it against the open G. And it doesn't quite sound right if I'm actually going to tune that. Oh yeah, look at that. It's not exactly the same when I play against the open A and against the open G. That's because the E to the G is a minor third and the A to the E is a perfect fifth. So like Molly describes, playing the E in tune depends on the function of the note. And so you have to ask yourself, what is the context of that E? Is it a third? Is it a fifth? What key are you in? This is the list of stable to most unstable. It's like the periodic table of elements or something for intervals. So we'll start with unisons, which are the most simple to tune because they're the same notes. We'll play open G, then we'll play this G. I'm playing bass for 30 some odd years and I still am not necessarily on at the beginning of the day. Now I'm going to play them together and slowly move and listen for those beats in the sound. Now I'm going to go this way, a little bit and so you can see how the beats change. Now we've got the octave, so a very stable interval, and we can just practice by going between them. I love how Molly breaks these two notes. So we start with the low D and the high D. And I'm using my tuner, but also my ears. That's the point of this. And we do it on all the pairs of strings again. Open A. We're going to start with the D string being the note that we believe in. So now our G string, we need to bring down 2 cents. Here's D, here's G, together. Here's how it sounds on the tuner. Okay, let's take the perfect fifth, and for all these I tune my bass back to equal temperament so we can use our open strings, which are on in terms of equal temperament. So now the A, if I'm directly on equal tempered A, Okay, so that's with them both on the green, equal tempered. But now if we actually bring that A a couple cents, find the equal tempered version. And now just use your ear. And you'll hear your bass ring in a different way. And this can be subtle at first, but it's kind of like staring at a painting and seeing more colors and more colors. And this is less obvious on the fifth, and it gets more obvious on some of these that are more unstable. Yeah, that secret about intonation. Well, Molly will let you in on that.
Sound and intonation are linked. So if you want to work on your intonation, work on your sound. If you want to work on your sound, work on your intonation.
Thinking about your intonation and your tone as being one and the same, that is such a crucial concept. It will take you so far. When I tune my bass at the beginning of my practice session, I am doing it to get in tune, but I'm also doing it to wake up my ears and get my brain dialed in. Okay, for the major sixth, we're going to do, again, open D. Then we're going to find a B, and this is equal tempered major sixth. And you can probably hear it just doesn't sound quite right. It sounds a little ugh to me. But if we bring this B down 16 cents, which is quite a bit, and we play. Okay, wow. And you can do that on all the pairs of strings too. And again, this is useful with the tuner, but then you want to get used to doing it just with your ears and really listen to the difference between those two. Just like any skill, you work on it, you practice it, and it's going to become something ingrained in you. In the minor sixth, it's almost as large an adjustment, but you're going to go the opposite directions. So here's the equal tempered version. And you can again hear that doesn't sound quite right, but we'll bring the B flat up 14 cents. That might seem like a large adjustment if you're just playing the B flat, but when you play it with the D, you can hear that difference. And again, going between the two using your ear. You're not doing any damage experimenting with these. Try to really understand how this locks in and sounds good in your ear. And of course, there are different contexts for everything. If you're playing with a piano, if you're playing and really need to be dialed in with equal tempered, that's an option. But then when you can, adjusting these intervals, especially these really big ones like this, it can be so helpful for your musicianship and really make your bass come alive. Thirds are like sixths in terms of their adjustment for minor and major. Now, the challenge is, because we're using our open strings, we have to have something to check to. We're going to adjust the bottom note this time. So we're going to have our G, and we're going to put E flat. So this is a major third. We're going to get an equal tempered E flat. Now we play them. This is the equal tempered version. We're going to raise the bottom note, the E flat, 14 cents. Adjusting, and also you want to experiment with your bow weight on each string, maybe put a little bit more emphasis on the G string or the D string or the other pairs of strings, and really try to find something that makes your bass sing. For the minor third, just like the sixth, it's the opposite direction. So here's a G and E. Play them together. But now where that wants to go is 16 cents flat. So we'll bring the E down. Remember, your ear is the best tuner. And you can hear the beats are different. You may want to also experiment. If you have the chops in thumb position, going up the bass can be helpful too, because they're so low down here, it can be a little bit difficult to distinguish, but at the same time, we spend so much time down here, so it's important to really get that dialed in as well.
It's working also with the laws of acoustics and physics and with ratios. And that's the part where personally, I don't really care. It's, can you apply it? Can you hear it? It talks about double stops and just intonation, but really what it's about is working on your sound. It's working on how to slow down, broaden your awareness. It's like a mindfulness practice, really. Slow down and actually listen to what's actually happening. And then I'm guiding you so you can put your finger right where it needs to be and then just listen. And maybe play around with tuning it like you would with a microscope and like, yeah, it's pretty clear, but can I get it even more locked in?
Molly goes through all the intervals, drone exercises, tuning chords, and much more. If you want to see a video on all of that, let me know in the comments below. There's a lot more to discover as you build your bass skills, so check out these videos we've got linked up and we'll see you in the next one.